Hello, Beep Baseball World. Welcome back to the Beepball Blues Show. We are back after taking a little week off last week, and we are coming out firing, ready to go. We are going to be featuring the New Jersey Titans on this episode. But first, I must tell you that I am the captain of this ship, Neil D.A.W.G., and I am joined by my brother in life, my brother in darkness, Seth Bam Clark.
Deal, dog. Well, as I always tell people, I'm totally blind, but it is not dark. I see lights and pictures and colors all the time. So you are my brother in rainbowness, Neil, dog. It's rainbow. It's rainbow,
Well,
bro. Rainbow.
Even though my totalness isn't always total darkness, I too see lights and colors and stuff. But I just, I like thinking of our world as a world in the dark. I think that's why everybody else sees us also.
Yeah, and our job is to break down cited misconceptions about the blind, since they are so prevalent and destructive. So that's why
might be your job and ain't my job. I've given up on educating the sighted. It's a worthless effort.
Well, it is worthless. They will never get, because there are so many sighted people, but there might be one or two that you can convince.
You're still, for the sake of the show, you're still gonna be my brother in darkness, whether you like it or not. Doesn't sound right saying my brother in lights and rainbows.
In light, and God, I can't even remember what the Robert Jordan thing is, but yeah. So I'm your brother in light. We walk in the light together, Neil.
We're gonna totally derail the show. I should know the answer to that, having read the entire series more than once. And that's a lot of reading. That's like, what, 15 over, I don't even know, 15 books of 1,000 pages each. That's a long series.
It's a lot of reading. God, I don't remember what it is, though. But we'll go.
All right, right. We can't even go down that road. So a couple things before we dive into New Jersey. One, I'm going to try to lower my table. I don't know if anybody will be able to see it well or not, but I've got my Hitters and Heroes shirt on. People might remember I had Liam Michaels on a while back to recap the Hitters and Heroes tournament that was played, hosted by the Indie Edge. Got my Hitters and Heroes shirt on. But also, Seth Dog, next week, we are finally doing it. Beat Baseball Jeopardy is going to be here. So we need to call out for some contestants to fire up to get on here. Would we decide on three, right?
Yep, 3 contestants. Reach out to Neil Dog. So express your interest. Let us know what team you are from. And we'll get you on. 3 contestants.
I want to know why you want to come on and play Beat Baseball Jeopardy. I don't want it to be as simple as I want in. A lot of people should want in, but you got to work for it. So you can reach me. What?
So do you want them to say, I just want to bask in your greatness, Neil Dog. I just want to be close to you, Neil Dog, right? That sort of thing.
That would get them close to being on the show. Give them a leg up.
Just to be close to you. Yeah.
You open like that, you might even get a couple points to start the game. So, just give a reason why you want to come on, play Beat Baseball Jeopardy. It could be anything. I don't know what's going to get my attention. I'll get everybody else's. We are going to have Frank Porter, who does the music for the show, is going to be joining Seth and I, since he's a member of the team. He'll be on here helping us run the show. It's going to be anything we consider Beat Baseball related. So, those are the rules. It could be about Beat Baseball champions, all-stars, presidents, people that have been on this show, since this is a Beat Baseball show. Hint, hint, if you follow the show, better keep in mind things you learned about, people you learned about. I don't know. We haven't written the questions yet, but go ahead.
Could be anything. Could be about the hotel. This player
the
was
hotel.
this player was ejected from the hotel and caused all sorts of controversy. Then we can get into anything.
Who is Dave Benny?
Oh, you got it. You got it, Dildo.
Yay, Neil
It could
Dog.
go. It could go any way, any which way.
That is something that I'm going to need you to help with while we're doing the show, because I'm not a Jeopardy person. I'm worried that because it'll be a rule that you have to answer in form of a question, but I have a feeling there will be times people don't, and I don't catch it because I'm not a Jeopardy person. So going to be counting on you and Frankie to help out with that stuff.
You know me. I'm a rule follower, Neil Doug. I am a rule follower. Dot my I's, cross my T's. Man.
There you go. The professor. So you can reach me at neildog@gmail.com. You hit me on Facebook. One way or the other, just figure out a way to reach out to me and tell why you want to be on the show. We will pick our 3 contestants, and we will be rocking next week with Beep Baseball Jeopardy. Now, on to this week. You know, there have been a lot of times when we've had guests on the show, we ask players and volunteers alike what players, what teams they're looking at around the nation. And a team that has come up more than once, I know Demetrius Morrow was the first one to bring them up, but a team that has been brought up more than once is the New Jersey Titans. And from the New Jersey Titans, we have Alfonso Harrell, Scott Hogwood, ScottZilla, and Mike Coughlin, one of the newest members of the New Jersey team. Welcome, fellas. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Man? Thank you. What's going on?
Tighten, y'all.
Tighten up.
Tighten up. Always like to hear that cheer. Means the Heat scoring runs, and you guys need to play better defense. I'm sorry.
All good. So a lot of the people that listen to the show, I know everybody likes listening to the live streams of games. Just a week ago, we had the Philadelphia Fire and the New Jersey Titans out there getting some games in before winter hits. So I'd like to start out by getting to know we're going to have you guys share more about your team, but I'd first like to get to know the individuals who are with us. We'll go start with you, Alfonso, since you've been with the Titans the longest. Man, tell us how you found the game, how you got involved with the Titans.
So how I got involved with the Titans was I was going to a program called JKTC in New Jersey, which like shows blind people how to get around, live their life. And
all right,
one of my best friends, Deshaun, he was there, and he told me about the sport. And so I told him, he's like, you want to come with me? I was like, it's not really my thing, because I was a goalball player first. And,
okay.
So it was like, I was like, it's not really my thing. And I was like, you go and you let me know how it is. I went to practice, came back, told me, and I went with him the next week, and the rest was history. So we started out on a team called New Jersey Lightning, and
right.
That was my rookie season. And
play with my boy. I'm guessing you play with my boy Sherlock Washington.
Yeah, sure. Sherlock, he did a lot for us, and I appreciate everything he did do.
What year was that? What year was that?
That was I would say, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not really good with it. I would say 2013, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And the Titans just came up in the hotel room at the World Series. It was some of the veteran guys and females that was on the team, and they bring the idea. I was just a rookie, and I followed those guys, and here we are today.
Very nice. I noticed in the doubleheader last week, like in the first game, you were the designated fielder, and then in the second game, you're hitting. Is that kind of your role? Are you more of a defensive player? What's your thing?
So last week was making sure everybody get in. The times. I mean, I would call myself a really good defensive player, but I also hit too. But yeah, we just had other guys that we wanted to make sure everybody got a chance at bats. So. I just follow what the coach is saying. It ended up working out.
No, I feel that. I was a member of the West Coast Dogs for many years. And, that was a talented roster. And that is kind of a role that all of us had to kind of accept. You know what I mean? When you got a bunch of talented players, you got to do what you can to fit everybody in. I know the more talent we brought in, the more designated fielding I ended up doing. So.
But I love it. It's a good problem to have. It's definitely motivation, and I love to see guys grow and get everybody get to show how they've been improving over this time.
What's the farthest you guys have ever advanced? What's the highest, I guess, you guys have ever finished?
We finished fifth last year in the last World Series.
Very nice. I mean, stupid.
Yeah, and that's coming from my first year, probably at 19th, somewhere around that place. So
it's a nice jump, right? Very nice. Mr. Hogwood, what about you? What's your history? How did you find the game? You've been around a little longer, play with some more teams.
Yeah, I got lucky. Well, I have RP, so I lost my vision, over the years, and I got lucky in my 30s. I had a mobility instructor that wound up knowing Hall of Famer Greg Gonteric, and he introduced me to Greg, and Greg introduced me to the sport of beep baseball, and that's where I got to meet Mike. And I played with the Pennsylvania Wolfpack for a few years, and didn't get the opportunity to go with them to a series. So he introduced me to Dan Green, and I got to play a couple years and hit off of Dan's son Daniel, which was a pleasure. And played a year with Colorado Storm and got to hit off of the great Johnny Walker. And then the last 3 years, I've been privileged enough to be a part of the New Jersey Titans and hit off of one of the new best up-and-coming pitchers, Greg Rutz. So it's been a pleasure. I love to play ball.
You know, I had no idea Daniel Green spent some time pitching. That's news to me.
Very good pitcher. Yeah, very good pitcher.
I should have known that. Before we started recording, we were talking Beepball families, and I played against Dan. I've known Dan and his family forever, since his kids were like little toddlers. But I got a chance to play a year with them on Oklahoma. So, Tim Hibner was the pitcher, and Daniel was the catcher. But I didn't know once they started the Arizona team that Daniel was catching. I know Andrew was a player. Andrew made the defense all-star team a few years back. So, I mean, that's a Beepball family right there.
Yeah, it was great. My first year with the series, I got to hit off Daniel Green, and me and him, we had a 643 batting average out in Rochester, New York, and Dan's son Victor actually gave me the nickname ScottZilla. So
okay.
So that stuck with me for a few years. So.
That's when I read that Mike had sent that to me as a nickname for you. I love that nickname. That's a cool nickname. I like your other one too, Hog Wild. Perfect for the last name you had.
Well, that one there came from Johnny Walker. He called me Hog Wild.
Oh, okay.
Hey, I thought that was a college nickname or something like that.
It kind of fits,
Yeah.
I think ScottZilla, that came from when we were playing with the Slammers. Might have been right around the time we were playing Taiwan, and they were like blown away at how big Scott was and how hard his swing was.
How tall are you, Scott? How big a guy are you?
6'4". Yeah, 6'4", about 260.
All right, so you up there in that Bam Bam size. So
yeah, but he's got the best nickname in baseball, Bam Bam. That's the best. That's the best one.
He's had it since, how old were you, 15, 16 when you got the nickname Bam Bam?
88? 89. 16. Yep, 16.
Yeah.
Oh, 16.
Yeah.
Young buck. Young Bam Bam. Young Bam.
Even when I was growing up, I didn't get any cool nicknames for hitting. Real quick, because he's one of my favorite people in all of beat baseball. Tell me how you like playing with Johnny Walker, Scott.
Oh goodness, Johnny Walker on and off the field, one of the best guys I've ever met. My wife used to pick on me. She used to say I had a man crush on Johnny Walker. We brought Johnny in to pitch for us when we played for the Philly Fire years ago, and we got to take him on a tour of Philly. Me and Mike took him down to Gino's and Pat's Steaks here in Philly, and we took a trip to the casino. And Johnny Walker on and off the field is one of the best guys that you'll ever meet. And the competitiveness with him is 100% too. He just I can't say enough about that guy. He's just a great guy.
Yeah, I've been saying for quite a while now, and I believe he earns every bit of it, that he truly is one of the game's best ambassadors.
100%.
Our game does have some good ambassadors, some people that really get out there and spread the word around and help people play. But man, Johnny just does everything for everybody. He's such a great guy, such a great guy.
Yeah. And to say that too about Mr. Dan Green and Greg Gonteric. Greg Gonteric is one of those guys too, just like him. So
no, absolutely. Absolutely. Greg makes me look bad. It makes people like me look bad because I'm only 50. Well, not only, but I'm 50. I'm 52 years old and I haven't been on the field since like 2009. And this guy's got to play until he's 90. Man. It just makes the rest of us that step aside. I mean, I feel like I got to come back and play until like I'm 70 just so he doesn't look down on me.
And Neil, with that being said, these guys are out there on the field, but, a lot of people see them on the field and don't get the opportunity to get to know them off the field. And these guys off the field, like Greg and Dan and Johnny, they're just, even Tim, you get the opportunity to meet Tim and Jared. I haven't had much of an opportunity to hang out with Kevin. But these guys are great guys and would do anything for you on or off the field. And a lot of people don't know that. They, some people, they see a winner and they just kind of, I don't like him because he's a winner. But if people give themselves the opportunity to know the people, they're such good guys on and off the field.
Yeah. I also had a chance to play 1 year with Greg Gonteric, and I didn't, even though I'd been playing against him for years at that point, I didn't know him real well, and had a good chance to get to know him that year. He's another truly great guy in the game. Set Dog's been playing with them on Houston for a number of years.
Yep. Yeah, he wasn't there, I don't think, the last time, but he definitely played with us 2-3 years. He was with us in Rochester. I think that might have been his last one with us.
Oh, okay.
That was a hard tournament, man. That guy had so many pads on. I felt for him. That ground was so hard, man. I don't know how he was able to get on the ground and get up. And it was like rocks, man. Like,
you should
60 years old, man. This is
you should see him on the goal ball court. He was the same way on the goal ball court. I think he would land on the ground, but he'd bounce back up from the pads. But
that's actually where Neil and I met. Greg Gonteric playing goalball back in Philly back in the day.
1991, the very first goalball tournament. Seth had been playing for a while, but that was my very first goalball tournament. Went all the way out to somewhere outside of Philadelphia. It was
King of Prussia, I believe it was. King of Prussia.
Okay, yeah.
It was up at the little blind school there. We didn't stay there, but
we actually did stay there one night. Remember, Tony got us Tony Lewis.
Yeah, he had to stay at the Overbrook school.
Oh, okay.
The tournament was at a different school.
Okay. I do remember the tournament being somewhere different, but what I mostly remember is that Pennsylvania team just killing us. just killed us. That was my first game. And, man, we just got smoked.
Paba. I'll always remember that name, Paba. That's what they call him. But yeah, no. So he's a good guy. He's a good guy. Known him a long time.
All right, Scott, we're going to jump back to you in a little bit, but I want to bring in Mr. Mike Coughlin, a dude that set this all up for me. I reached out to Mike this week, and he was all excited about getting his team on here. So, Mike Coughlin, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
What is your history? You've bounced around a little bit. What's your history?
Yeah, so I lost my sight when I was 4.
Okay.
It was like a hereditary condition that I can't even pronounce, but it's the abbreviation is FEVR, so people call it fever. But I lost my sight when I was 4, basically because my retina's detached. So I went to a school for the blind called St. Lucy's, which is actually like incorporated into like a regular elementary school. So like my classes were kind of split between, the blind school and the other school, depending on the class.
Okay.
But through that school, I was able to get into some blind sports pretty early. And I started playing goalball, and Greg was a big part of that program. And that was with BSO, Blind Sports Organization. And he said, why don't you come out and try beat baseball? So probably around the time I was 11 or 12, I started, maybe 12, I started kind of going to the Wolfpack practices. And let's see, I think my first World Series was 2012 with Long Island. And then 13, 14, 15, and 16, I was with the Slammers. And we brought Scott along in 2015. I think that might have been Scott's first series. Maybe it was 14. I don't remember. I think it was 15, though. And we played with them for 2 years. And then 17, we went to the Storm. 18 and 19, I went with the Philly Fire. We finally got the Philly team together enough to go. It took that long, 7 years or so.
Yeah.
And then this would have been my first year with the Titans. So that's kind of how I got into the sport. I got into it through Greg, and it took all these years to to finally get together enough. I was always an okay player, but being blind, you learn a little differently. It took me years to figure out how to swing and years to learn from Greg on playing good defense. And it started to all come together a couple of years ago, probably about the time we started with Johnny Walker. Because actually, I think the way we got with Johnny Walker in 2016, we went to the Chicago tournament to Slammers, and Johnny Walker came to help spot for us and stuff like that. And Scott and I started talking to him, and John Margist, who's a player on the Fire, and we brought him into the Fire to kind of work with our pitcher and just give us some advice. So that's what Scott was talking about in Philly, and we got the chance to play with him with Colorado, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, here I am now.
For a short career, you bounced around, played with quite a few teams.
I was determined to go to the series regardless. That to me is my favorite time of the year. I love the World Series, man.
No, why? Hold on. But why? Yeah. What is it about the World Series that
Well,
makes it your favorite?
I love competition, and the more competition I can get, the better. And goalball tournaments were fun, but I was never a really hard thrower. I was always kind of a decent defensive player. But playing beat baseball, that got me, like, I was actually kind of an offensive threat a little bit. I was a good fielder, felt like a good player. So, we had those weekend tournaments, and they were fun. But the World Series, to me, when I went through 2012, was just a whole different ball game. It was awesome. I mean, a week straight of baseball, you can't beat that.
I've always found goalball to be a more exciting game because it's so quick and beepball.
I get that, and I love goalball.
I'm standing out there in the field like, God damn, is this over yet? but there's nothing like I've said before on this show. There's nothing like being at the World Series, the hotel, hanging out with everybody, all and to me, the baseball community in general is a lot more of a family than the goalball community. I felt like the goalball community is a little more cliquey and stuff like that. Right.
So
right. No, I had fun at the playing goalball, but there was only like one tournament. I always hanging out with Neil, but we hang out with ourselves and stuff. But there wasn't all like always that interaction, you know, running into other teams in the
Yeah,
in the hallway and in
I've
the
never-
elevator stuff.
Yeah, I never thought about that, but that is one area, and part of that could just be because of how much shorter it is. Because you know,
Yes,
goal
right.
ball, you go in on Friday, you play all day Saturday, and you're out on Sunday. Whereas the
Right.
Beepball World Series, you know, you get there one weekend and you leave the next weekend. It's a lot more opportunity for bouncing around and getting to know people. But you guys are right. I never thought of that. The goal ball tournaments I used to go to were never like the social gathering that the Beepball World
Right.
Series is.
Right. No, the only time I went to nationals, and that was a week long, where goal ball was just a part of the nationals, and that was wild because you know you had all these people in the stands and stuff and all that.
I agree. It was a lot of
yeah.
fun. I was part of youth nationals as well. I went to Florida a couple of years and ended up winning a championship there. And that really is a lot of fun having people in the bleachers watching.
Yeah, that is a totally different thing than you get in beepball, just that sort of excitement or whatever. But that again is all just around the game and stuff like that. And so as opposed to other things. But that's why I was kind of interested, you know, in what it was about the World Series and stuff like that attracted you or whatever. So, but yeah,
just curious, Mike, did you play center when you played goal ball? Since you said you're more
for the
defensive
most
player?
part, when I played, I was center. Yeah, like youth nationals, definitely. When I was so young when I started playing, to where, you know, a lot of my early tournaments with the adults, you know, I had John Mulhern and Andy Jenks and Josh Schwartz and stuff like that. So I was always on the fourth guy or fifth guy even, because I was so young.
Right.
And they were so good. But eventually, whenever I did start playing with the adults and stuff like that, I was primarily a center, but I do play a little wing here and there.
Right.
Now,
So,
can I just jump in? Hold on, just one
of
more
course.
thing, and a sidetrack thing, and it just again it goes back to my fascination with how people lose their sight or whatever. It was that. So when your retinas detach, is that a spontaneous thing, or was that?
Yeah. So actually, they ended up having to do a whole bunch of like genetic tests after I lost my sight because they didn't know what the heck happened. But basically, the way it happened was, when I was born, I only had sight in one eye to begin with, and they knew that. And but they thought my other eye was fine, and everything was for about 4 years. And when I was actually in like pre-K, it was probably pre-K, I was in class and we were painting a picture, and I went to go dip the paintbrush in the cup, and I missed. And they were like, there might be something wrong here. Get his eyes checked or something. So they ended up realizing that my retinas were detaching, and I had like 8 different surgeries to try and keep it attached. And every surgery just made it a little bit worse. And eventually I had a surgery, woke up, and I had no sight. So that's how I lost my sight. But I'd rather it have happened then than, you know, later on in life. So
that seems to be kind of a common occurrence for people that have lost their sight with detached retinas, is like the multiple surgeries of trying to reattach it. It
ended up being, after the genetic test, it was my mom's side of the family. No one else in my family has any vision problems. So it was supposed to be a recessive gene that for some reason was dominant in me, and you know, they didn't know. But if they would have been slightly aware of that going in, you know, and they would have had a head start on saving it, they would have probably had a higher success of keeping some vision. But
but then we wouldn't be here talking to you about baseball.
So what you say that? Hold on, that was fever. FVER.
FEVR, and it's if you Google FEVR eye condition, it pops right up. But it's long words. It's like 4 real long words that I can't pronounce.
Perfect. I have a whole section in my dissertation talking about eye diseases.
Okay,
and,
check
and,
that
and so
one out.
that's the one. That's one that I need to. I need to put in.
It's
there,
pretty rare.
I was wondering what all of a sudden your interest was.
Yeah, no, it was whenever there's like. Yeah, it is. I mean, it does interest me now. I mean, I have a whole chapter on how blind slaves lost their sight, so it is something that kind of fascinates me. So, but go ahead. I'm sorry. Now you can move on. I'm sorry.
So I just want to talk more about the Titans. Get to know more about the players and what kind of defense you guys play. It's funny. I was thinking. Offensively, what a great pickup Mike was for you guys, like Scott and Alfonso. But, not just offensively, the guy made the defensive all-star team in 2019. So that all the way around, whenever you can pick up a new player and it helps on offense and defense, that's a win-win.
Definitely. It's funny. Mikey's got a little motivation coming in too. I think Mikey's felt like he's been overlooked, a little bit in conversations, and I think Mikey's got something to prove. So, and I've been around Mikey for years. So I just like some of our other guys, Randy George, and I knew what these guys could do. They just needed the opportunity to get out there and do it. And with a solid, steady pitcher, and we got two of the best coaches in the league with Nestor Gonzalez and Greg Rutz. The competitiveness and the fire that those two guys have, man, they push us so hard, and it's great when your volunteers are just as competitive as your players.
No, if you want to be a winning program, you have to have that. I mean, that was something that was so key in the success of the West Coast Dogs when Seth and I were part of it. It's just that everybody was on the same page. Our spotters, whatever pitcher we had on any given year, since it moved around a lot. But everybody had to be on that same page. So tell us a little bit about your defense. What kind of defense do you guys play?
Fines,
you play like this?
Fines?
I can't really describe it, I guess. I know it's like it's like it's 3-5-3. We play on the weak side and the high side, and those are the numbers we play.
If you can't, for the audience and for myself, because everybody uses a different spotting system and stuff. So if you could talk like right field, left field, short, do you guys play two short people?
Yeah, two short.
Have one?
So it'll be it's we do 1 to 6 on each side, on right side and left side, and then we so we have 2 shorts. Yeah, 2 shorts, 2 middles, and 2 deep guys. Yes, and the 6 is the middle.
The normal mirror thing, right? I mean, it's not. It's what the style pretty much everybody does.
I think in Colorado,
when he said 3-5-3, I was like, man, that's a defense in football.
I think
on each side, that's the numbers with 3 defenders would be in.
Yeah, I think in Colorado they used to call it the zipper defense, where
I heard that before.
Yeah, they used to call it the zipper defense. So.
Yeah. So who are Randy George and Mike the 2 short people? Who are the 2 short players on the team?
Nah, actually, I mean Randy was, but actually Randy just is so good. We put him in the back now because he's been locking it down. So that's what's gonna be surprising. He's gonna be an all-star defensive player playing deep. You know what I'm saying, on the left side. So Mike would be short. And we have a couple. Mike would be short, and we have a couple guys that play short on the other side. We got Lamont Borley, we got Zach Turner. So we could throw pretty much a couple guys up there.
A little versatility. But who are if you guys were starting a game at the World Series today, a big game, who would be your 2 short people?
We would have Mike playing short left and Lamont playing short right.
All right. Then Lamont Borley, that's a team captain, right? One of your team captain?
Yes,
all right. Go ahead, Seth.
I finally now know who that Mount Boardley person is that I see on the Beepball Nation or whatever. I was just going to say again, because obviously I'll speak and say this till I die. Nobody will listen to me though. But playing 2 short people is an absolute waste. But go ahead. What were you going to say?
Can you tell me why you feel? Would you feel that? I would love to know. Like, what's the reason that you feel that way?
Because
sometimes I think the same thing. I just don't know how to explain it to people.
right. So if you put somebody short in the middle at 70 feet, they can cover the balls they're supposed to get are all going to stop. So you don't really need two people to cover that ground. One person can do it.
Yeah. When I played with the Fire, that's how they played it. They had a point guy, and that was about 85 feet.
Yeah, I mean, I would, yeah, exactly. I mean, I wouldn't put him, you don't even have to put him that far back, but if you just tell him to play all the balls that have stopped, right, that's what kills people when you give up these little balls that stop, right? Everybody can give up a 150-foot bomb, you know what I'm saying? That's just how the world is, right? But if you give up a 55-foot roller, and that should be an out, that can't happen. But one person in the middle can cover all that ground, and then you have 5 people to cover the more difficult balls that are medium and hard hits. So that, I mean, people do this, and I have play this style of defense that you're playing. The Heat plays it, and I have no idea why. There's no earthly reason to play this style of defense. But
well,
for the Thunder.
Well, with that being said, too, Seth, we have been working because we don't hear a lot about other teams like working a shift, and a couple games that we played last year, where the lines were a little more vulnerable. We've gotten to where we are working in a shift to where we'll have four guys actually on the left side of the field and only 2 on the right side, and that seems to be helping us quite a bit. It helped us last weekend against Philly. When you got those pull hitters up there, we drop into a shift and we got a lot more ground covered over there. So.
And and it's not even a pull hitter. I pulled the entire hitting record against the Heat from that 2019 whatever we were Tulsa series where we played you, and and I believe there was like 200 balls hit on us, and 6 went down the first base line.
Right field.
Right?
Right.
So, yeah, the right field line. And we played you. You guys have left-handers. I would be willing to guess that 5 or 6 of those hits came from your game. Right-handers generally don't hit balls down the right field line. It just doesn't happen.
No. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but when we play the Boston Renegades, they say put on the Hogwood shift, and I think they have Christian Thaxton in right field, and the rest of the Renegades are in left field because that's whatever they got to do to try to get a person out.
Exactly. Yeah.
I would say just to answer your question, you'd have Lamont short right, me short left. You have Scott mid right, Zach mid left, and you got Randy deep left, and Fonz deep right. But Fonz really he plays everywhere. I mean, he can play short right, he plays mid, he plays deep left. So like Fonz is pretty he's a pretty good utility guy. He can go everywhere.
Yeah. No, that's helpful. And that man, that throwing out those names. I mean, that's a good layout for a defense, but there's some good hitters in that. You guys got some pop in that lineup.
Yeah, man, that's the good thing about our team. Yeah, we could put 6 guys up there that can hit that ball that has a 50% chance of hitting it. Like, and not a lot of teams have 6 people that can just go up there and just let it rip.
And Big Marv as well.
Yeah, we got guys come up the bench. We got people that we grooming. We got young kids like Tyler. He gonna be special. Damien, she's gonna be special. Samantha, she's a one of our young females, but she's also improving and getting better. She's gonna be special. So we got so many it's special out here, man. I love them.
I've already mentioned that I often will ask players to talk about other players that have their attention, and Zach Turner's name has come up more than once on the show as somebody that some people target as possibly one of the fastest in the league. Where you guys stand on that?
Oh, definitely.
And if you guys don't mind, I want to say Zach Turner just his energy. He's a former collegiate football player.
Oh, okay.
And he just lost his vision, you know, in the last few years. And he last year in the fastest man competition was second behind, I believe, only Gerald Dicus. He's just all around his motivation, his temperament. He's a great teammate to have all around, and he definitely is going to be one of the best beepball players in the nation.
How long's he been in the game?
This would have been his third season. 2020 would have been his third season. So,
how far back was he playing college football? How long ago was that?
He's 29. He might be 29 or 30 now. So I think he was playing college ball about 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And not only that, he took a group of us, you know, like me. You know, I'm an older guy. I'm 46, and you know, he dropped 20 pounds off of me. He's trained me since January, and you know, he just takes the time every day to send me workouts and do this. He just wants to see us all get better.
Yeah.
And you know, like I said, not only on the field but off the field. You know, that's the one thing about beat baseball in the New Jersey Titans. We get on the field, but yet when we're done playing ball, I mean, we're all communicating with each other every other day, and if we don't hear from somebody, somebody calls and says, "Hey, everything good with you?" You know, we're a family, not just a baseball team, but we're a family. We 100%. We got one guy that lives in Florida, and he's just as much of a part of us as any of the rest. You know, it's a great team to be with and be a part of.
Are you guys all from New Jersey? I mean, you guys all live in the not from, but do you guys all live in the New Jersey area outside of the player that you were saying is from Florida?
We have a couple from Brooklyn, New York.
Right.
And then most like Fonz and Marv and those guys are from northern Jersey. Lamont's from Trenton. Me, Randy, and Mikey, we're in the Philly area. And then we have Wally. Help me pronounce his last name, guys. Saludini. Yeah,
I have no idea.
He's from North Carolina, and he's one.
I know Wally.
Yeah,
I know Wally.
Yeah, awesome dude.
That's our guy, man. That's my guy.
Yes, and then we got Rich Coppingham, who's retired and living the good life down in Florida, but he's still a New Jersey Titan. So,
yeah, I'm a big believer in building teams regionally. Like, you know, if you guys can practice together, you're a lot better off than teams that pull a lot of players from outside of the area.
No doubt.
You know, you guys are building. Sounds like you guys. I mean, I've played you guys the last couple of years, and I've seen you guys get a lot better, obviously. So it seems like you guys are definitely know how to build and are building in the right way. Where did Zach Turner play college football at?
I don't want to lie to you.
Over there.
Yeah, over that way.
I know he's from Bergen County. He told me before. I
know he's told me, and I don't remember.
Yeah. I want to see if I can find it real quick.
All right. Yeah, no, you know, and being you know, a football fan or whatever and stuff like
Definitely.
that. I always like to track our peoples and stuff.
Well, and I don't know if you know it, Marvin Morgan. He played for the New York Giants.
Yeah, I knew you guys had somebody who played for. I thought it was the Jets, but yeah, I thought somebody.
Yeah, the Incredible Hulk. That's Marvin Morgan. He's 100%. You know, he just a great dude. The guy's 60 years old and runs a sub-5 base, and
I liked him a lot better when I thought he played for the Jets. Now he's a Giants. I'm not totally sure. But, you know.
He went to Sacred Heart University.
Okay,
so.
Yeah. all right, okay. Good. All right.
You know that Marvin was somebody I was just getting ready to ask you about, and now that all makes a little more sense to me because I've been hearing about this dude Marvin that played in the NFL. but like, you know, he's not I'm imagining like this professional athlete, you know, and I'm wondering why he's not like, you know, one of your top like 4 or 5 players. But hearing that he's 60 years old, I'm
like, he's in the hell of shape.
Marvin is one of the 4 top players on this team. That's the thing. But again, the thing is, we have so many good players that we want to save Marvin as much as we can and keep him ready to go.
Get them legs
so we don't want him out there playing every inning for no reason. We got guys that we can put out there to do it. But he's definitely one of the top players on the team.
Definitely. Yeah.
In no way, shape, or form was I trying to take anything from it. It's more like I've been hearing about this ex-NFL player for a few months, and I'm imagining somebody that's like 25 or 30. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, man, this dude's probably the best athlete in the whole league. And even at 60, he's probably still one of the best with that background.
If you are trying to take anything from him, Neil, I'm going to send him your contact information.
I got to make sure when he hit his back, he know I had his back. You know.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna have my friend, my
he had a
Frank.
couple real good hits in the scrimmage.
Yeah.
I'll have my man Frank Porter edit out
anything
that's gonna get my ass whooped.
Now Marvin's one of those guys too, like on and off the field. I mean, that's the thing about the Titans. I mean, you know how sometimes you'll go and play with certain teams, and there's always this 1 or 2 people you're like, you know, but that's the thing about the Titans. I mean, everybody on the team would take the shirt off of their back to give it to you, and that makes such a difference.
Yeah, and that's not just talking. That's all facts. For me, being here from day one,
real.
the culture that we set just to see it grow. Like, this is the reason why the Titans were started. For everything that was being said that Scott could say is the reason why the group of who came together is the reason why we did it, just to get something like this.
No, it's a great thing to have. Neil and I, you know, when we were with the Dogs back during what I call the Republic era of the Dogs, we I mean, we would you know, we'd be at Neil's house or Eric's house after practice, hanging out, playing cards, always talking beep ball. And through those interactions, I mean, I think it just made our team so much better than it would have been, you know, even in the Empire stage when we weren't actually, when nobody was actually from California or whatever. But having that ability to you know, have those personal relationships with your own players and know how everybody's going to react in a situation, there's nothing that kind of replaces that. Well, now, let me ask. Go ahead.
Well, with that being said, too, you know, one of the great feelings is when you're done playing ball and teams come up to you and say, man, it's so much fun playing against you guys, you know, and that means a lot, because, you know, there's some teams out there that you're like, all right, I'm really, you know, but when like your pitcher Fonzie comes up to us and tells us, you know, it's such a pleasure to play against you guys, you know, that makes that takes a lot, you know, to be that way, and it's fun.
Right. No, you got a good solid squad. Go ahead, Neil. I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna say that along the same thing. I mean, it said a lot to me, like as I'm asking, you know, players about other players that they like and other teams they like, that multiple players are saying, man, that Titan team, they're up and coming. They're, you know, they're looking good. You guys are doing something that's getting people's attention. So and like when you're talking about how close you guys are, I considered like the West Coast Dogs when we were in our heyday, like that was, I called it my second family, but in so many ways it was my first family, because I was closer to my teammates than I was like my family members, really. And it just said so much about like how much time we all spent around each other. And on a project like, you know, getting ready for the World Series each year, like you need that closeness and that kind of like togetherness to keep everybody on the same page and moving the project forward. You know, if you're not all on the same page, if you're not all thinking and feeling close to the same way, it's just impossible to put together a winning product. I think you have to be on the same page.
And not only that, Neil, like at the scrimmage, I know people can't see the sidelines and stuff like that, but you got Alfonso's family there, my family there, Lamont's family's there, Marvin's family's there, and they're in the background, you know, like family themselves. You know, my kids are watching this one's kids and this one, you know, and it's not just us as players. You know, you got Nestor and Damien and Damien's little sister, and we're all a group, you know, even beyond the players and the coaches, you know, and that it's huge. It's huge.
No, absolutely. I found that it was a problem like once we won the championship, because like getting the rings for people, it's like everybody deserves one. You know what I mean? Seth's parents would deserve a ring. It's like you can't get one for everybody, but man, by the time it's over, it's like everybody deserves a championship ring, because you just couldn't have done it without the entire group pitching in, you know.
And just so we don't leave anybody out, we got some of the best spotters in Camry and Aaron and Lexi, and we got one of the best bat girls in the world, that's Allison, and one of the greatest volunteers in Papa Ness. That's Nestor's dad, Damien's grandfather. And am I leaving anybody else out, guys? Because they're all awesome. They're great.
Vinny, that's the only one.
Oh, big Vinny. Yeah, big Vinny. He makes me look like a little guy. He's up in Long Island. And I mean, we couldn't do any, you guys know, I mean, you can't do nothing without the support from your family and your friends and stuff like that. It goes a long way.
Aren't they? I want to give a shout out to Neil. Neil is definitely one of he's been with us.
Oh, Neil.
Yeah, and he was. We couldn't have done it without him also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You threw me off when you're like Neil.
Yeah, right.
Neil. It's like,
you don't have to give him a shout out. You can just say hello to him.
He's trying to get on Jeopardy. He's trying to get on Jeopardy.
Yeah. Right. You know, just a quick question, and I'll point out, I've never received a championship ring, nor have my parents. I didn't want one. I tore my little size chart up. But
could you stop making everything about you?
Yeah. Well, so I always like the record to be correct. You know, if I'm going to put my name on it, it has to be true.
All right.
But where did you get the name Titans? Right, my favorite movie in the world is Remember the Titans. And
Howard, I meant to tell him while we were waiting for you to come on the show. It's like I thought coming in it would be hard for us, you and I, Seth, not to make a bunch of Remember the Titans references.
Right. Well,
I actually want to name the title of the show something that would tie into the movie, but I don't want to be so like generic as just put Remember the Titans, you know what I mean? Like a line from the movie, like always remember the night you played the
Titans. Hey, and here we make it work every day. You can say, before reaching for hate, always remember the Titans.
So, sorry to have derailed that on you. How did you guys, or Alfonso might be the best one. They've been around the longest. How did you come up with the name the Titans?
So when we started out, I would say it was a very group collective effort, because we wanted to make sure everybody had a voice on the team, and that's where it started from. We wanted to make sure everybody had something to say. So we had we just had like a group text, and guys would just give they top, 10 names, and Titans was just one of, I can't remember. I think it could have been Marvin Morgan who put that name out there, or it could have been Steve Rutch. One of them guys put the name out there, and I guess a couple people liked it, and it ended up being that. It wasn't my first choice, but
What was your first choice?
My first choice was New Jersey Jets because I'm a Jets fan. So
he's like, man, I don't want the Titans. But they're like, but your team's like, man, we're trying to build a winner here, man. We can't go with the Jets.
We could have been the original Jet Light.
Yeah.
That's what I was going for. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
Well, fellas, we've been talking a lot about your Titans. I would like to hear, who are some of the players around the league, maybe maybe another team like the Titans. Who's got the attention of you fellas? We'll start with you, Alfonso.
So with me, I'm not, like I said, I'm not too big on the league and knowing so many people because I focus on my team a lot. So I'm not really good with too many names, but some teams I definitely want to be Indy Thunder one day. I definitely want to win championships, and I hang out with a lot of those guys sometimes, and they seem like they're pretty close. They seem pretty cool. I like what Boston is doing just because I get to compete against them, and those guys are competitors, and I love the way the way they cheer each other on when they're on the field. So I appreciate that. And just the young teams growing. I like to see the teams that started from young. I used to play against Cleveland a lot. I like playing with them. That's about it. Now, I mean, I like Bayou City a lot just because of the cheers, and I definitely like Fonzie a lot. So I'm not really good with individual players.
Yeah, you did good. I mean, I think a lot of us are like that. It's not like, especially with us being like blind players, it's not like we're seeing jersey names on jerseys, and you know what I mean. It's a different element for us. So no, you did good, man. You did good. What about you, Mr. Hog Wild?
Well, I mean, everybody kind of assumes that we have a huge rivalry with Philly and maybe Austin Blackhawks. Philly, they're up and coming. They several friends of mine play for them, so I'm a big fan of Philly, and I wish nothing but the best for those guys. But Austin, after losing to them in Chicago last year by 1 run, and then beating them in the World Series, I'm sure they're going to be gunning for us, and we're going to be waiting for it. So we're looking forward to that, and definitely got a lot of friends on the Thunder and the Jets, and love always playing against Jared and Kevin and Kyle. With Indy, they've rebuilt. They brought Ja'Cory in, and Ethan was supposed to play with them this year, but I'm not sure what his plans are for next year. But I think
as of right now, he still plans to go with them next year. So
okay. And, well, Neil, we just want to be in the talks of those teams, and anytime we get the opportunity to play against those teams, we're going to give them everything we got, because we want to be mentioned in the same breath with those guys, because we, like I said, we got practice tomorrow morning, and here it is, October in Northeast of the country,
and you have no games on the horizon at this point, and you're going out and practicing. I dig that.
Well, our coach always says every time he hits a ball out to us, he said nobody else is working as hard as we are, and that's what we strive off of. We just want to be mentioned in that the best of the world. We want people to consider us when they're talking about the best.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's why we do it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. What about you, Mr. Coughlin? Who's got your attention out there?
So, I got players and names. So, to a couple teams that I like. Obviously, the Thunder and Jets, and I love Zach Ramble and Axe and those guys, and then on Thunder, Erod and all. But to name some other teams, Boston is a team that always gives the Titans a good game, and I can't wait to beat them next year.
Call out.
Christian Saxton's probably one of my faves. He's a real good hitter. He used to play college ball, baseball.
Baseball, is that right?
Yeah, college baseball, yeah. And he has a couple home runs as well under his belt. He's a good hitter.
Yeah,
and he uses a 27-ounce bat.
Really?
But, which is crazy to me. But, the Edge also is the team that I'm looking forward to trying to beat. And a couple up and coming teams that are always pretty good, and I love seeing their progress, would be Minnesota and Tyler, Texas. So I like seeing those two teams that they're getting better every year, and yeah, it's probably the guys I'd go with.
Minnesota's got some nice. I guess I can't really call them young players anymore. They're starting to grow up, but like Evan
Silver, is his name Evan Silver, I think, or something like that?
No, Van Dyne.
Van Dyne.
Evan Van Dyne. But no, he's a good defensive player. And another kid, I think his name Joe something. It's really, really fast. Got some good speed. I see. I'm terrible with names. I shouldn't even try to pull them out.
There's the guy with Josh over there. I hear a lot about him. But overall, just as a team, I mean, Minnesota is getting better every year, and that's cool to see.
But one team too, not to leave out, is the team that's got the two females. Is it BCS?
BCS Outlaws.
Oh, those
BCS
guys
Outlaws.
They've improved so much, and they were great to play against last year. And I wish those guys the best too, because they really, you can tell they put in a lot of work.
Now, it's so sad to hear people talk about the future of beepball and realize I don't have any future left in beepball. So I do wish you guys all the best. I'll never play again. I did.
I don't know why you're taking that approach, man. The fact that your own son is getting into pitching and spotting has me feeling like I could hit the field again. So, if I hit the field with your son, you better be out there somewhere next to me. Well, cool, Phyllis. This has been a lot of fun. I don't know, Seth. Do you have anything else on your plate for the guys?
Not for the guys, but. My family, the Bayou City Heat, a lot of throughout the week, a lot of different medical issues have popped up.
Oh yeah,
with three of our family members on the Heat. I won't speak of who they are or anything like that. If they're listening, they know who they are. I wish all of you guys, all of you and everybody that you are connected to, the best of health, and I wish everybody a good recovery. So,
I'll support that. I am going to throw out one of the names just because it's pretty public, but the president of the NBBA, Blake Boudreau, had a tumor removed. We're recording this on Saturday. He had it removed on Friday. And the word I got last night was it was the size of a football, the tumor that they pulled out. They're testing it now. There's no results back yet, but everybody keep your fingers crossed. It'll come back negative. Nothing scary other than a football being pulled out of the inside of your body, which is crazy. But I guess Blake was saying that on the outside it looked the size of a softball. So once it got inside and found how big it was, that's wild. So
one thing I can say is I never want a football pulled out of my body.
Yeah.
Definitely they're all in our prayers for sure.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And since his name got brought up with the Thunder and the Edge are playing what I believe will be the last beepball game of the year today. But Eric Rodriguez, who you could argue is the best player in the game, certainly the MVP of 2020. He turned, I believe, 21 just the other day. He had a birthday a couple days ago. I think he is now 21-year-old. Can't believe these guys got these championships and all-stars, and they're just now turning in their 20s. It's stupid. I don't even get it. They got so much fun ahead of them. I'm envious. But belated happy birthday to Eric, and definitely, again, the thoughts to Seth Dogg's teammates with the Bayou City Heat. I never know how to say that right. I'm not from the South, but from Houston. Best wishes to all of them, to everybody else. And thank you, fellas. You guys got anything else before we part ways? Any words of wisdom?
Thank you guys. And Titan what?
Tighten up, baby.
I do love that. Tighten up. That's a perfect thing to be like when you're out on defense. You have a couple balls get by. It's like, all right, y'all, time to tighten up. Well,
Thank you guys
thanks
for
for
having us on. We
Yeah,
appreciate
thanks
it.
for definitely having us, man. This was fun.
Oh, good.
Good.
I'm glad you guys had a good time.
You
It's
guys
always
are
better
fun.
when people have a good time. It
Oh,
comes across.
Before we part, there is something I gotta ask. I think because originally Lamont Bortley was going to be on with us, and from what I understand, he had to bail out. But he has sent Alfonso. You were supposed to tell a story, I believe. Is that correct?
He said Alfonso had a good story. I don't know what it was necessarily about, but
He didn't give me necessarily what story I was supposed to tell. I thought you guys were gonna ask what happened with Philly last week. I didn't know if that's what he was talking about or not.
I think he was talking about just like how you lost your sight or something like that, or something. I don't know.
I was I don't. He just told me to just tell stories. I lost my sight just because I was born blind, so it's nothing special about it.
Well, that's
Nothing special about it.
Dude,
we'll have to ask him.
you know what you say if anybody asks you've been blind your whole life, Alfonso? I'm telling them, not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
I like that.
That's a good one.
I stole that from
Sam McKenzie. Sam McKenzie.
Nah,
Sam.
oh, it was Sam McKenzie.
It was Sam McKenzie.
Yeah. But I was gonna. I'm drawing a blank on his teammate. Well, it was my teammate too at the time. God, what's Roy's? I can't. Yeah, Eubanks. God, yeah. Thank you. I was drawing a total blank. Having breakfast with Roy Eubanks and Sam McKenzie when we all played on Oklahoma together. And Frank Fonzio asked Sam McKenzie, he's like, "So Sam, been blind your whole life?" Sam's like, "Not yet. Just kept eating."
Yeah, that's a good one.
That was the best answer I ever heard to that question. That was great. Well, thank you so much, fellas. I had a lot of fun. I'm going to be following you guys next year. I look forward to seeing how you piece this all together. I wish you luck together. Thank you, Mike.
And hold on. And remember, it means nothing if you don't ever win a championship. Just saying. Just saying. All that happy talk means nothing if you don't win a championship.
That's right.
I'm rooting for you guys next year. Anybody but the Thunder. Yeah. Or
hey, remember the Titans. Remember the Titans.
Exactly.
Yeah. Always remember the night they played the Titans.
Thanks, guys. Everybody. We appreciate it.
All right. Okay,
all right,
guys.
folks. Make sure you reach out. Reach out. We need 3 contestants. Beat Baseball Jeopardy is coming next week unless you fail us. So don't fail us. People show up. Let's play this game. We're gonna have a good time. Outside of that, everybody be safe, be smart, be considerate, and we will see you next week. Good night, Aunt Cindy. I almost forgot. Good night, Aunt Cindy.
Bye, Aunt Cindy.